Hi, and welcome to Getting Started with Ürban PAD, Part 3, Working with the Graph. Ürban PAD contains a node-based graph for creating your templates, and we're just going to go over the basics of how it works. I'm going to start off with my basic sector. As you can see, I open in expanded view right here. I'm just going to move a little closer. If you need information about how the cameras work, just click the Help Displayer. Information about cameras is contained about a third of the way down. You'll also see some specifics, some of which I'm going to talk about here, on how to add nodes to the graph, how to make the cameras work, and how to visualize. Alright, the first thing I'm going to do is center the graph so I can see all the information. And then I'm going to move it in and out so that I can see a little bit better what I'm doing. When you're working with the graph, you'll notice that every node, when it's highlighted, turns black, and up to the left it has rule information in this panel. Rule information contains different parameters. For information on any of these parameters, click on the blue underlined text for documentation. We're just going to switch into layer view where we can see the template being constructed layer by layer. Everything looks okay here. I'm just going to try a couple of modifications. I don't think I want to modify anything right here for the moment. Rectangle looks good. And here's the documentation if you need it. Just going to change the size of the base layer. I'm going to double it. And when I go back into expanded view, I can see that the surface area of the template has doubled. I'm going to set it back to its original values. Don't want to save this, so I'm just going to click the red cancel mark to go to something else. Now I'm going to go to the city editor. And the functioning of the node graph in the city editor is largely the same. You're going to see the same buttons. Again, I'm going to center the graph to get an overview of everything there all at once. I have the same camera buttons. The only difference is that to display my city, I'm going to click on this display node at the right. The expand and the layer view are not available in City Editor. Again, I have the help displayer if I need any help. And the red status wheel at the top tells me that my city is loading. So if you look at this and you don't see anything happening, check the status wheel at the top. Again, each node is going to correspond to a rule node parameter set of information over in the left-hand side of the screen. This is where you'll make your modifications to the rules, to the rule nodes rather. I'm just going to do a quick one here. I can see my city. And like I said, we're just going to click on a random rule node and see that documentation exists like it does for Sector Editor. In the blue underlined text. Okay, so I've gone to the width node. I'm going to change the width of my roads. I'm going to roughly double them. I'm going to click on my graph to surface node, which is the node that is used when I want to draw my city before I add my templates and display it. And you can see an update of the information with this new road width on screen. Going to click the display node to display the new city with the new roads. And while we are waiting for the city to display, I just want to show you the rules catalog. Again, same format, same documentation, pictures provided for easier learning and understanding of the different rules. We're currently working on getting pictures for all of the rules. If I want to add a note, I just click on the note field, add a title and a comment. This is useful if you need to leave notes for somebody working on the same project, or if you need to remember why you did a particular operation. It comes in handy. If I want to delete it, no big deal, just press the delete button. And I see that in bringing up the rules catalog, I killed my graph, so we're going to re-expand it. And now you can see the city with those new road widths. You'll notice that we have fewer houses because our roads got slightly larger and crowded out some of those houses. Going to make it just a little larger again. Redraw the graph to surface. This is an optional step if you just want to see the city, but it's interesting to see how the roads update and the changes update in real time. You can also enter in the rule node parameters different names for your rules, so you can actually give them names that go along with what they're doing in your project. And you can access the documentation also from this part of the screen. And we can see that the difference with these roads is a little more striking. Again, it's not anything we want to keep, so we just cancel out. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is just a simple exercise in creating a very basic graph. I'm going to create a new template from my basic sector default template. I'm going to center the graph to see everything. The first thing I'm going to do is to delete all of these nodes except the base layer node. So I'm just going to click and drag around the nodes and hit delete. This operation is going to delete everything except my base node. I'm going to zoom in to see what I'm doing. And when I click on my base node, you can see all of the information about this node at the left. I'm going to click on the rules catalog and add my first rule, which is an extrude. I'm going to click and drag from the base output slot to the extrude target. This is going to create layers. If I need to break the connection so that I can delete the rule or move it somewhere else, I just click on the pink node in the middle. Going to add a random float value, and as we've covered in some of the other videos, if you need help with the documentation, just click the blue underlined text. I've added a texture rule. I'm going to texture the bottom part of this building. Right now we're in layer view, so we can see exactly what we're doing. When I go to expanded view, I don't see the entire cube, This is because untextured polygons in Ürban PAD will not be displayed on screen. So I'm just going to take my top output slot and put it into the texture node so that everything's displayed. Going to add a roof. I'm going to go back into layer view so I can get visual feedback on how my graph is coming along, how my building's coming along. Going to add this to the top layer of the building. Again, add a random float. Everything's explained through the blue text link. And in the 3D view, I can make sure that I'm getting exactly what I want and adjust if it's not. I'm going to add another texture node and hook this up to my roof. I'm going to select a texture from the Asset Explorer, validate with the green check mark. Go back into expanded view. I'm missing the sides on the roof. So I'm going to verify that all of my output slots have been connected to the texture node. And working this way in expanded view is a good way to make sure that you're connecting all of your output slots to the right nodes.